You're now listening to the S.W.M.O podcast.
Kirk Cousins last year left the league. Well, didn't leave the league, but left the league with an injury, an Achilles tendon injury, and looked like an MVP. It doesn't seem like that Achilles injury has taken anything off him, as he is throwing for 500 yards. Probably the first 500-yard game of the season. 4 touchdowns and 1 INT. He leads the game. He leads the league so far in touchdowns. Correct?
No. Right now, Sam Darnold is the league leader in touchdowns. Baker's in second, and he only upped that now at the top, 11 and 11. Kirk Cousins, up until this point, has not looked exceptional. He had a 4 touchdown to 4 INT ratio over his first 4 games. Not the best. They were sitting at 2 and 2. They were sitting at 1 and 2. Barely snuck their way back. Now, to move up to 3 and 2, tied for first in the division, well, our first in the division after this win versus the Bucks. It's interesting because this was kind of a resurrection performance in my mind from Kirk Cousins, because last year, before his injury, like you said, he's an MVP candidate. Now all of a sudden he gets moved to a different team after an injury, which is fair. The Minnesota Vikings were going to have a high pick. There's a lot of good quarterbacks there. They knew one of them was going to fall to them. If not, they'd trade up and grab another one, but that's a different story. You know, they grabbed J.J. McCarthy. Now, that's totally fine. So they move on from Kirk Cousins. They don't need to give him a big payday. They'd rather get a guy on a rookie contract. But now that he's moved on to a different team, and this Atlanta Falcons team is kind of a building. They've got their building blocks in place. They've got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, who's still young. People forget that he was taken really highly, and he's still a young player. You grab Darnell Mooney. Kyle Pitts is also a very young player. He was taken 4th overall. They have expectations for him. That defense, they get a new coach, Raheem Morris, and that defense kind of takes a step up. Now you complete that with Kirk Cousins, and you take a huge step up from last season, because now all of a sudden your offense is complete. You have all these young players on offense, and now you tie it together with a veteran. Their O-line's great, too. This has potential to be a very, very, very good team.
Yeah, 100%. We saw in the offseason, we're like, man, the Falcons will be good this year because they got Kirk Cousins. They don't have Desmond Ridder. They don't have Marcus Mariota. 2 guys that didn't work for them in 2 years, right? Now that they got a quarterback that can actually sling it consistently, right, and can actually lead a team to the playoffs, a veteran quarterback that can, somehow just giving words of wisdom to the young team. Because, again, I feel that people, like you said, forget that this is a very young team. Kyle Pitts, like you said, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, 3 superstars that are all, young, taken 3 years ago. You also have a very young defense. You got a star corner in AJ Terrell. Is it AJ Terrell? Yeah. It is AJ Terrell.
Yeah, it is AJ Terrell.
So,
he's excellent.
Obviously, there were high expectations since the beginning for the Atlanta Falcons. It just seemed at this point that it was really just a coaching mess up. We know that Arthur Smith was not the best coach when utilizing his players. I mean, hell, Kyle Pitts couldn't even get the ball. The ball was never thrown to him. Why? Because he wasn't part of the game plan. But now Raheem Morris is putting everyone in the same game plan and making it work. When you have this many superstars, it is hard to fit everyone in. I mean, we see the Niners do it. They're able to fit everyone in. So I think Raheem Morris is doing this same thing and putting everyone together. And this will start going into wins.